Welcome to another session of Microsoft Excel. Today we will be learning about the different page layouts that are there in Microsoft Excel. So we will be starting with page layout, following with page orientation, then merge size, and print titles. Now, in our previous session, we learned about the different ribbon menus that were there in Microsoft Excel. And in one of them, one of the ribbon menus was page layout. So we are going to take a deeper dive in page layout and understand the different layouts that are easily available to us and how do we use those layouts. So let's begin our session for the day. What is a page layout? The page layout tabs provides commands for the user which helps them in preparing the workbook. Now, we were talking about the views and screens. Similarly, when you want to set up a workbook, when you want to work on a workbook, you would want the page layout to be customized, right? Be it by the orientation, by the size, by the titles, by the breaks, it has to be customized as per your requirement and the way you will be using that document. Now, each workbook will not be the same. It won't have the same templates, it won't have the same content, and it will not have the same formulas as well. So the layout also differs depending on the requirement. So the first things that we are going to look into is the page orientation, followed by the margin size. And the other page layout that we will be looking into is the print titles and page break. So let's see what we are talking about in Microsoft Excel. So we'll go back. And we are already in the page layout menu, as you can see. So the first thing we see is the themes, right? So we were talking about what different themes that you can use. Now this is properly meant when you are, let's say, you want to submit a document, a balance sheet, or some sort of a format where you need to put a certain, when you need to put a certain theme or color or fonts or effects, this part comes into your use. Then you have the pet setup, which we will be talking about, where you have the margins, the orientation, the size, the print area, and the print titles and background. Now here the background can be some sort of an image that you might want to choose. For example, you can put you want to put some sort of a picture of the company or of any previous balance sheet or any such things, or bills, maybe like example of bills. You can put it up as a background. Then you have scale to fit. Now, when you're working on the margins, orientation, size, you would also want to check on the width and the height of the cells and also the scale. So all of this can be customized as well. You can do it for one page, two pages. You can similarly, you can do it for all the pages here as well. And you can also check, like, do you want scale to fit or how do you want the scale to be, right? Next, you have the grid lines and the headings. Now, in case you would want to print, it will be a different grid line or heading. In case you just want to view, it will be in the view mode, which is the default mode. Also, you have bring forward, bring backward. This is more or less same of what we had done in both Word and in PowerPoint, where you can put an image forward or backward. You can select objects from the selection pane. For example, the charts, you can align them properly, group the charts if you want to, rotate them as well. But this part works when you have objects in your document, by the way. It will not work when you just have numbers here. No, it won't work if you just have text here also. You need to have some sort of objects, be it image, be it charts, be it graphs, be it a pivot table, for to use this part of the arrange, right? So the arrange part of the page layout can be only used when you have two or more objects in the work spreadsheet. The next is page orientation. Now, page orientation is of two types, and we have already learned those two types. One is a landscape mode, which makes the orientation, makes the page horizontal mostly. And if you have lot of column based data, then I think landscape is the best thing to use. And portrait is the one with the vertical where you have more data in the rows. Now let's understand with an example. So let's go back to the Microsoft Excel document. So here, let's say you have about the, so here you will have, let's say about 10 sets of data. So 10 household sets of data. But in the columns, you have more parameters, and let's say you have about 20 parameters and all. Then what you should do is you should change the orientation from here to landscape, right? But let's say you have more data here. You have about 5 or 6 parameters, but about 100 sets of data, right? Which is mostly you're putting in the rows. Then it is always better to make the page a portrait because it will be easier for you to print. So also think in that perspective that how do you want the page to look when you're printing? If you have more data on the columns, keep it landscape. If you have more data on the vertical side, keep it portrait mode. Always. So whenever you are uploading your data and then you see that, okay, my columns are much more, always change the layout to a landscape mode. One, it will be easier for you to see. Second, when you're printing the document, it will be easier for you to check all the parameters together. But you have more data and less parameters, then use portrait because all your data then will be able to come in one page because there's most data in the rows side, not in the column side. Now that we have learned about page orientation, the next we have is margin size. Margin in the workbook is the space between the content and the edge of the page. By default, the margin of the workbook is always set as normal and includes a set of predefined margin sizes. You can adjust the data and fit in the data properly. Now, this is one good thing about Microsoft Excel. You can always customize the margin sizes. You already have a default margin size. In case you do not want that and you think you would want a bit more of space, be it width wise, which will be for the rows, or the height wise for the columns, you can always change them. So let's see what is there in page margin. So we will go back to the Excel document. And as you see, these are the margins. Once you click into this drop down menu, you have the normal, which is already the default one. Then you have the wide, then you have the narrow, right? Now let's say you want to customize this. You can always do that, be it horizontally or vertically, and also can check on the print preview. So whenever you're customizing and you have already uploaded the data, but you think that, I want to change the margin size a bit, you can always come here and check on the print preview before you're printing the document. One, it will help you in saving your paper because you won't be just printing number of checking on layouts and printing it. Second of all, it also saves your time and effort because the part of the content that you're getting printed, the data that you're getting printed, at the end of the day you will be able to see that it's fitting or not. So this is how you will be able to do the margin of the page, right? So you can set up your page with the help of this. You can click the help of the options. You can see how the print will look like. You can make it horizontally or vertically. See, you can come on the center of the page in case you would want. You can put the change the cell size. So changing it to 1.25. Once we do this, you see the margin size has already changed in the page. So this is how you can actually change the margin size of your spreadsheet. Next, we have the print titles. If the user has inserted title headings in the workbook, it is important to include those headings in the printed worksheet page. The print title command allows the user to select specific rows and columns to appear in all the print pages. Now, very simply understand that when you are creating a spreadsheet and when you're printing that out, data, unless and until it's really small, it won't fit into one page. There's a chance that it might just get it might get spilled over, and also there can be several other pages. So you might have a 2 or 3 page printout coming in. But you would want the headings to be there, right? You would want the headings to be, and let's say you have certain details which needs to be there in all the pages. Now, how do you do that? With the help of print titles, you will be able to do that. So what you do is, so let's go back. We go to Microsoft Excel and you go to print titles. So you can put the print area here. You can say the rows to be repeated and the columns to be repeated. So let's say I want the row 1 and the column 1 to be repeated. I want the headings to be there everywhere. You can put the print in the way that you would want it to be. Grid lines, black and white, draft quality, row and column heading. You can see the page order. You can put comments can be added at the end of the sheet or displayed in the sheet only, and cell errors. So all of these things can be set up as well. That means you do not have to worry about how to print a spreadsheet. If not, will the title will be coming in all the pages? Can I see the comments? Will I be able to see the grid lines? Will I be able to see the errors that has happened? All of these things can be seen in the printed page as well. And this is how the print titles helps you. It makes your work easy so that you do not have to write the title in every page. You can mention, you can have the certain rows and columns which are required to be there in all the pages to be there as well, because with the help of print title you will be able to do that. So this also saves a lot of your effort and time. Now we have learned about print titles. The next is page break. The page break enables the user print different sections of the workbook in separate pages. Page breaks can be both horizontal and vertical. So one thing you have already learned about page break in Microsoft Word. What is page break? Page break is when I want to add content or want to shift content to a next page, I insert a page break. Similarly, when I want to add content here or want to add a different table or something or shift it to a different page, I can always insert a page break. Where let's say, and I can separately print out the page breaks as well. It's not that I have to print out all with the page break. No, you can print out several sections of the page breaks as well. You can reset those page breaks, remove those page breaks, and insert as many as page breaks that you would want in your document. So if you want and you're seeing it's not going to fit and you already want to add it to a next page, use page break there. So that content does not get spilled over and you can show the data in a separate page itself, which looks far more better, by the way.